Good morning, everybody, and welcome to, hold on, let me make sure I got this right, reading President Trump's previous post, Power Plant and Bridge Day. What does that mean? Well, it's Iran deadline day. 8 p.m. tonight, as he said. You'll hear him reiterate from last night's press conference. They have until that time to negotiate, open up the Strait of Hormuz, and everything will be good, or they're going to go back to the Stone Age, basically. But it may not come to that. This is amazing, and it's amazing. Oh, he's always threatening. Yeah, because it usually works, because they're already starting to open up the strait, which means lower gas prices and safety and security for all of us later on down the road. But that's neither here nor there. Talk about that, as well as they had the big post-wrap-up, post-mission briefing yesterday. A lot of generals were involved, where they talked about exactly what happened when we rescued the pilots. And I think finally, and a lot of us have called for this, we're going to do something about the leakers coming. We've all seen it. It's like, why does he have so many bad people in the State Department or, intelligence community undermining Trump's efforts? Well, now's their golden opportunity. And I'll be with them, too. I'll be with you, calling them out if they don't get rid of these leakers and put them in jail. Because they were leakers, they're aware of it, that almost upended that heroic mission to save those pilots. We'll talk about that, as well as, speaking of historic, how about this? Artemis crew now has gone further than any humans in history. These are historic times. We're also going to wrap it up today with Gavin Newsome's wife is even worse than him, somehow. Scary, scary woman. But you should be glad about this, because she may single-handedly end his political career. Seriously, it's that serious, with some dug-up statements that she cannot stop making. And we've got some basketball history, too. A new national champion. Congrats, Michigan. The NCAA 2A tournament, it's a great tournament. It really is. We'll get to that. Thanks for finding me. I appreciate you. Wicked Radio live stream Monday through Friday, X, YouTube, Facebook, and then the replay on those channels and the audio podcast as always. Let's get to it. They call it Power Plant and Bridge Day. Or actually, President Trump calls it that because it means a deadline. Reiterated that again tonight. He is not messing around.
They have till tomorrow. Now we'll see what happens. I can tell you they're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them also. A lot of people are affected by this, but we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and after that, they're going to have no bridges, they're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah, Stone Age.
Something about Stone Age. He's right. Do we know enough now? I mean, can we all just admit it and be adults in the room? We know he's not bluffing. He know that the military under his charge is not bluffing. And that's why it's so important. Because, and you could call him crazy. Maybe you don't like Trump. Maybe you don't like all the tough talk. I think you're going to have to admit at some point, reality is it works. And it's already starting to work. The strait is starting to open up a little bit more, allowing more ships. He thinks they're negotiating in good faith, as he said, and I think he's serious about that. Maybe it won't come to blasting them into the Stone Age. And by that he means, and this is already getting convoluted in your favorite mainstream media outlets. He's not talking about nuking that country. I've already heard that. Did you hear? You probably don't watch Jessica Tarloff on the 5 on Fox too much. I made the mistake of running into that and listening to her yesterday and reading her post. He's going to nuke Iran. I mean, actually saying that. Actually say it and getting away with it, but with nothing but a community note on X. They can actually get away with this. Just lunatic fear-mongering. No, he's talking about regime change. Do we want America to be back in the regime change business? No, but let's also counter that with this. This should have been done 47 freaking years ago. Every president prior to him could have taken care of this, and they didn't, and he is. And at the end of it, if they do play along, or if they are knocked back to the Stone Age and allow those people to be free again, we've got a safer world. These are historic times, and it could go very, very well for us in the West. They also wrapped up the mission, so we'll see what happens with the deadline tonight. It may not come to that. Maybe they'll play ball. I don't know. They also wrapped up the details of the rescue mission of the pilots. I love this guy. I wanted to play him just because I love him and I love his name, General Kane. Raisin Kane. This is what he said about the mission.
Result of the absolute trust they have in our rescue forces, their training, and their will to survive and return. They always knew that we would be ordered to go get them, and they always knew that we would be coming to get them. These
completely different, isn't it? When you know you've got a Secretary of War, military staff, and of course a Commander-in-Chief that has your back. does something about resolve. You probably experienced this in your personal life, whether it was business or sports or just even your family. You know your people. The people that matter have your back. Isn't it amazing how much more you get done? Isn't that something? It's that resolve. It's that know that you've got not a safety net, but you got people watching your back for you. It's amazing. That's why this mission succeeded. And it's time to bring this up now that we know the details and they've had the wrap-up press conference, we know is a success and an awesome military achievement. Again, despite idiots in the mainstream media saying, but we wasted $120 million in military equipment. Anybody that says that does not understand the American mindset, honestly, that you don't leave a human being behind. They're actually bringing that up as a counterpoint to try to criticize this. Don't ever listen to those people. But I think it's safe to say now and talk about the possibility of what it would have been like if we didn't rescue those pilots, with the weapons commander and the pilot. Can you imagine what the headlines would be today? Wouldn't be hearing about good stuff. It would be wall-to-wall, 24/7, how Trump got American military members killed. That's what you would have heard if we didn't have this successful mission. But what went behind this, as you heard General Kane say, and the military members, and even Trump and Hegseth, it wasn't about their reputation or headlines. It was getting those two back, and that's why it worked. Absolute resolve. Now we're hearing about this, though. It almost didn't work because of, you guessed it, leakers. We've all seen it. We all get frustrated by it. Why can't Trump? It's just like the first administration. Why does he have so many people that want to undermine his presidency? Well, I think because it's such an enormous, deep swamp, a corrupt swamp in D.C. and Washington in general, way worse, way deeper than we ever imagined. And it's hard to get rid of all of them. But I think they have a golden chance. I, too, will be upset if they don't do something about this. I think they know who leaked the details to the media about this mission. I think they know. And now's your golden chance to put this person on trial and in jail. You have to. You have to do it. Despite what the media says, despite what the critics say. This is your golden chance to scare the bejesus out of leakers and people who would undermine their superiors in this administration. You have a golden chance to do it. And I think they are going to do it, at least according to this statement.
When you add that to it, but we have to find that leaker because that's a sick person. Probably didn't realize the extent of how bad it was. I can't imagine that the person did. But we're going to find out. It's national security. And the person that did the story will go to jail if he doesn't say. And that doesn't last long. And I think everybody would understand it. They put this mission at great risk. They put that man at great risk, and they put the hundreds of people that went in looking for him, because everyone now knows that we're going in.
So here's how it all worked out. The administration very smartly put out a dummy plan. They put out the false information out there that they had already rescued the second pilot there, and that they weren't going to go in. So that information, that's how they knew it was a leaker. But I think they already know at this point who this leaker was. They know what media outlet he ran to, or she ran to, whoever it was. Now's your chance. I would love to see results from this. Oh, they're just, and you know how it's going to get spun. And at this point, you, me, everybody else, we can't care, because you know how the media spin is going to go, the propaganda. Trump putting political opponents and critics in jail. You know that's not the case. You put a leaker in there who ran right to the media with false information that could have very well gotten American people killed. That's the bottom line. I want to see results of this. They should find this person, put this person in jail after a quick and speedy trial. That's exactly what needs to happen. You want results? You want to have people stop leaking and undermining an administration? That's what you do. Do it. Send a message. And I think they will. We'll find out. All right, it wasn't all doom and gloom. It wasn't all deadlines. It wasn't all power plant and bridge day. President Trump. Why is Bill talking about Trump all the time? Because he's the guy that makes the headlines. That's why. But he made a very important call. First of all, the Artemis astronauts. You know I love them. A daily Artemis update. I had to write this down because it's just incredible, even when you see the number. 248,655 miles away from Earth. They have traveled further than any humans in history, as far as we know. That's incredible to me. Absolutely amazing, incredible mission. So, and they also spun around the moon, and they went through that, 30 minutes of, or was it 30 seconds? I don't know, of non-communication through the dark side of the moon. President Trump called the crew yesterday, and he had this to say.
Well, thank you very much, Jared, and you are doing a fantastic job. And hello, very special hello to Artemis 2. Today you've made history and made all America really proud, incredibly proud. We have a lot of things to be proud of lately. But this is there's nothing like what you're doing, circling around the moon for the first time in more than a half a century, and breaking the all-time record for the farthest distance from planet Earth. Humans have really never seen anything quite like what you're doing in a manned spacecraft. It's really special. I want to personally salute and congratulate Commander Reed Weissman, Pilot Victor Glover, Mission Specialist Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen. And I also want to thank the entire amazing team at NASA, headed by Jared, who's a very special guy, by the way, and you all made this day possible, and you've really inspired.
I like that he shouted out the exact crew members' names on that. I was a little afraid. I'll be honest with you, I was a little afraid he was going to ramble on and start talking about Iran. But he didn't do that. No, he stayed away from that, just focused on the positive. But you think about it. And he kind of briefly mentioned it there for a second. A lot of great things going on, a very historic time. Think about it. If you were an alien life form, you just landed on the planet, and all you had to watch to consume what's going on our world was watching CNN, you would think that it's just all doom and gloom for at least our side of the world. When you think about it, we very, very well possibly may have a terrorist regime toppled in Iran. The first time in 47 years, close to 50 years we've been dealing with this and not dealing with it properly. And we've just set a space record. When you look at it that way and you realize exactly what's going on, these truly are amazing historic times. There's a lot of good stuff happening, a lot of good stuff. This is good too, and you're going to laugh at me at first for saying this, but I promise you, this is enraging and infuriating what she says, but you should be thanking the heavens or however you celebrate from this gift from above, Gavin Newsome's wife. Huh? She single-handedly may end him. That's how awful she is. So now, for whatever reason, she's doing a bunch of speaking tours, and now they're digging up all the other speaking engagements she's done, saying absolutely lunatic things, and it's frightening what she says. But when you hear this, doesn't this sum up exactly what always bothered you about the lunatic left? Why do they always, invariably, go after young men to try to emasculate them and silence them? Every single time. She spoke about that. This is what she said. Again, I'll explain why, but you should be happy about it.
Boys, we all know, I think, are increasingly are realizing that boys are moving away from sort of the more progressive boys that spend time online are moving a little bit I'm trying not to be political here, but are moving to the right and being sort of influenced by the Andrew Tates and some of that sort of alt-right socialization online that we know is very, very dangerous.
Now, okay, Andrew Tate's a different story. Whatever you think about them. You know who else she mentioned in the long rambling clip? Who she considers, and they consider, because she's representative of that whole movement, they consider alt-right? She mentioned Jordan Peterson. You know who that is? The Canadian professor who talks to young people and says things like personal responsibility and clean your room and be a good person and go the extra effort and be the best version of yourself. That, according to them, is the alt-right. She goes on to say, this is the kind of talking, things that we should put a stop to online. If they had power right now, I'm not on here. You probably can't watch what you want to watch. It would still be left-wing propaganda everywhere and anywhere. And they always, always go after young men. It's always the first part of the movement is to emasculate and to censor young men. And to automatically assume that anything that is not of their propaganda and their agenda is bad. Oh, it's evil. They try to claim this moral high ground. So she's getting roasted. It, of course, is attached right to Gavin Newsom, who they still are considering to run for president. And he would still do very well. Guarantee it, because there are enough dumb people in that there who would vote for him and not look at what they've done to California. It's a gift. It's a gift that she's out there talking, and the internet lives forever. Man. All right. Let's wrap this up. We're talking about some sports. Why is he talking about sports? Because this is one of those things that transcends sports. I'm talking about the NCAA basketball tournament. Women and men. Great tournament. Great thing. We got a new national champion. Boy, could the sports leagues, the pro sports leagues, learn a lot from these people. How they put on this tournament, start to finish, March Madness, the 64 teams, and how it all wraps up with the championship games in Indianapolis. Just a great event, massive ratings, and they play their hearts out. I don't really have a dog in this fight, Michigan or UConn, but congrats to Michigan. They won it last night. It sounded like this.
Length of the floor, layup doesn't go, ball knocked around, slugged down the floor, Caravan trying to track it down, and he will. And it's over! Hail to the champions! Hail to Michigan! For the first time in 37 years, the Wolverines win the national title.
Just great sports entertainment. Great that these kids, I'm telling you, play their hearts out because they're not, well, I know they get a lot of money now, but they're not considered pro athletes. It's just a great thing. And again, I'm not the biggest college basketball fan of the world, but you got to look at an event like this and it transcends sports. These are the things we have in our culture and our country we shouldn't ever get rid of. Now, if you listen to Gavin Newsome's wife, this would be considered toxic. They will tell you, it should end in a tie, and everybody gets a share of the trophy, and if you don't like that, we should censor you. You think I'm far off? Like she wouldn't say that? Anyway, all right, historic day. We'll see what happens. There's going to be a lot to talk about tomorrow as far as the serious side of news. Did Iran follow the deadline? Did they play ball? Did they negotiate in good faith? Or tomorrow, are we talking about a regime that is completely toppled and gone? I think that's going to happen anyway, but these are amazing times, and more from Artemis, too, and everything else going on. Appreciate you, as always. I appreciate your time. And again, there are amazing things happening right now, historic things that are great for our country and our society and our culture. Don't listen to how they want to disparage it at all. And I hope they get those leakers. Thanks for finding me. Replay on X and YouTube and on Facebook. The audio podcast gets posted in just a couple of minutes, at least usually by 9 a.m. in real time on all your favorite audio podcasts. So thanks for being with me. I appreciate you. It's only Tuesday, but make it wicked awesome. I'll talk to you tomorrow.